The issues that took place in Palestine spread to Europe and New York, where the increasing Islamic population were chanting death to Israel, where they were insulting Jews. In London there were severe riots, and throughout the rest of the UK. The issues in Palestine, France's stance on Islam, the generals writing letters to President of France Macron is going to ignite the fuse. More churches will get burnt and more attacks will happen, and then the big attack will happen in Europe. All signs will point to Turkey and Iran. This will happen due to the threat of the Israelis and Israel. It will have to be pinned on someone, they're enemies of Iran and Turkey. This is all part of the dream vision of Turkey paving over the roads the Americans laid. The result will be an increase in Islamic cooperation, and this is where they all unite in Libya, but they head into North and Central Africa. They will fight the French in Central Africa like never before. This is where Russia and France's alliance pick up, and why France will side by Russia. The UK will block out the news what's happening in France to prevent it spilling into the UK, and why France will be pushed to work with Russia. France will go their own route to protect what is theirs in Africa. This will bring Russia and Turkey into more conflict. The Armenia-Azerbaijan conflict will pick up again, Libya will pick up with the Russians and Syria. Turkey will also be doing their own thing, and while this is all taking place, NATO will continue to provoke Russia, and Russia has warned they will knock the teeth out of anyone playing games. This is where they will invade Europe. Russia is now more powerful than ever. The West weakened through their own lies about the virus, they destroyed their economies, which will cause even more nationalism and racial tension in all the European social states. This is where the European Union will wither like an aloe, the seer mentioned. This is the end of the euro. Countries which have the most Islamic populations in Europe are going to experience a lot of unrest now. This includes France, Bosnia, Germany and the UK. There will be those behind the scenes stoking things up due to the Turkish and Islamic threat. Not too long ago, in the grand scheme of things, South Africa used to supply electricity halfway up through Africa, supplying Zambia with electricity. Today, as you know, the ANC have destroyed South Africa, but it is not totally by accident, neglect or corruption. There is a deliberate sabotage. Remember Ramaphosa's words about boiling the frog, and that it would take 26 years for them to achieve their objective. Well, it is no coincidence that Ramaphosa took the helm of South Africa exactly, and I mean exactly 26 years later. He took control of South Africa as president exactly 26 years later, just as the documented mentioned. Is that a coincidence? Little froggy, are you awake? Little froggy, do you see they do not need electricity to boil you? You have been boiled without even knowing it. While you were cheering for your rugby team, they were busy boiling you alive slowly. It's also interesting that Ramaphosa's brother-in-law and he have a stake in Eskom. The result now is South Africa has no electricity for growth, which is all by design. I hear these bleating-hearted, utterly confused liberals in South Africa. They keep on saying, well, if the ANC just did this or that, or if they fixed this or that, things will work out. Liberals are useful idiots. They are part of the plan to keep hoodwinking whites into believing there is some pot of gold at the end of this rainbow nation. No, my dear people, everything was an illusion. There was never a rainbow. That was propaganda. It is all by design, and the result is once again, God working in the background. God is great, so wonderful and so merciful. Pray and you will see the miracles occur. Let me paint the picture for you. In the greed, their lust to remove the whites from South Africa, destroying the economy, they have now formed alliances with countries who will in time not have an alliance with the West. Did I not tell you Turkey will head for Southern Africa? I told you. The videos stand as a testament to the dream vision given to me, but given to you, the nation. God brought the Turk to Southern Africa to bring the Europeans back to this part of the world. Once again, like I mentioned in past videos, history is repeating. The scramble for the Cape due to sea route issues with the Suez Canal brings them all back to Southern Africa. The US has been hitting Turkey with all kinds of soft sanctions. The Turkish economy is in turmoil. Their poking the Russian bear resulted in a cold relationship. Russia stopped all tourists going to Turkey in June or July this year, hitting the Turkish economy further. The Americans have been selling off the Turkish lira, which is their currency, and Turkey is in dire straits. They face bankruptcy, and as a result their scramble to Africa will pick up speed. So where or how does this tie in with South Africa? Do we not see a Turkish ship trying to supply the country with electricity? Praise the Almighty, praise the Almighty. I told you we're going to see God's hand in the background forcing this entire thing coming to a head. Do you think the West is going to allow Turkey to revive their economy selling electricity to a corrupt regime in South Africa? South Africa was told to clean up shop. This is where the Zuma situation kicks in. The West have put pressure on them to clean up shop. Due to their corrupt nature, they followed the New World Order's plans and shut down. They were thrown a lifeline of finance, but it comes at a price. You either clean up shop or you get out. The result will be the tribal and political infighting. These are the war clouds on the horizon. It comes just as the Indian variant picks up and will gain momentum until the spotlight is on South Africa with its variant. And I am anticipating the media shining bright at this stage on South Africa, and with a media collapse in the West. This all ties in, at this crucial time. It will happen when the spotlight is on South Africa, when things are picking up with the democratic revolution. It will tie in with some variant of the virus causing the media to shine bright here in South Africa. There will be more mention of ISIS in Mozambique. The spotlight is set in place. All that is needed now is for someone to flick the switch when those jets arrive, as shown to me. When they arrive, you will see how the Almighty works. Is it a coincidence all these world events happen that brings back former powers into Africa, around the Cape Coast? Only you know the answer. I know the hand of the Almighty is invincible but more powerful than anyone could ever imagine or think. Faithful nation, turn your back on the West. If you want the West or allies to come to your aid, you do not go to them, you go to the Father, the God of Israel. The Almighty will send who the Almighty wants to send. Trusting in nations or man or anyone else is going to prove to be a snare. Go back to your roots, put your faith in the Almighty, pray with your heart and soul for the nation, pray for your enemies. This way you will have humbled yourself, and the Almighty will begin to work miracles and bring about things which you or I could not even begin to imagine. With the Islamic threat picking up in Spain, did the earlier message dream from 2019 not tell me to tell you, there will be a Portuguese and Spanish presence in southern Africa? It seems obvious now. I told you in the previous video that Portugal was going to be here. They are here just around the corner in Mozambique. Next we will see Spain more than likely in this region as they seek to protect what is theirs. Japan as well at some time in the future. ISIS on our borders is a very, very good thing. It is to be welcomed. There is a saying, the enemy of my enemy is my friend. Well, ISIS in this case is our friend. These terrorist organizations in Africa were happy to dish out the terror. Now the terror is dished out on them, and so see the worry and tear in my eye, you won't find it. I feel nothing for the terrorists. I told you, the terrorists will be the new terrorized, and it will not end. It will continue because North Africa, from the equator to the southern portion of Europe, will become Islamic. It will be a caliphate. Some thought I was crazy, some think I am still crazy, even I think I am crazy, but I saw it. A future caliphate of the Islamic Northern Republic will have a relationship with the Boers that they never had with the Europeans. There will be mutual respect. They will know the God of Israel is with the Boer folk due to the miracles they see here, and when they see the same cloud hovering over the equator. The same cloud they saw leaving the Hagia Sophia Church when they invaded Constantinople. They are plowing over all these countries the West developed, which the terrorists used to throw out the Europeans. Do not believe the media would love you to believe they are all terrorists. This is not true. Many of these Muslim countries are more Christian than your Christian pastors. More of them follow what is in the Bible than your happy-clappy Christians. The Turk only understands honor, something he has yet to find in Europe, but will find it with the Boer folk who keep their word. The issue in Europe is the Europeans have not kept their word and agreements with Turkey and their inclusion in the Eurozone. They kept being blown off, keep getting stalled, and the Turk is going to go his own way, and his way is south into Africa, paving over the roads the Americans laid. They will be here, on the northern border. They look over to the south where our future republic shall be. Peace will prevail, mutual respect. Turkey will find peace, but not in his old territory. It is time to prepare. There is a famine coming onto the world stage, get prepared. If you are waiting for the news to tell you there is a famine, you will miss the boat. Prepare. I know many people say the rand is getting stronger, but it is only comparing it to the dollar. The dollar is dropping, giving people some false hope that somehow the rand will survive, or even worse, they think it is getting stronger. These people will wake up when the rand crashes from underneath them, not knowing what happened. I told you, I had a message dream where I was on a plane with a man from Azerbaijan, and he laughed, scoffed, he could not believe how weak the South African rand was. I was shocked. I was more shocked at his response to seeing the value of the rand. That video is on the channel, when the rand crashed. For a long time, since that dream, it did not make sense to me. About a week ago the insight came to me. Why was he laughing? He was laughing because they went through a war and we did not have a war, yet his currency was stronger than the rand. It could very well be the reason. Speaking of Azerbaijan, the conflict is not yet over and is going to pick up speed again. The fighting seems like it will continue. A number of countries issued warnings to their citizens to stay away from their borders between the country of Azerbaijan and Armenia. This is possibly where Russia will also be provoked by Turkey. This is why the Turk is also heading south into Africa. He has to forge a new territory because he knows he is on borrowed time and will gather the nations around him to take a spoil in Africa. The only problem is the French in Africa. This is why France has to tighten their belt back home. They cannot afford to have wars in other African countries and not expect them to come back home now with an Arab and African population that make up 30% of their population. This is the pot boiling in France the seer spoke about when things pick up in the coming Rhine Valley. The people, the former army generals, police are now looking for reform, and the globalism is going to end. The French are going to go to war to take their country back, and when it kicks off, the UK will have to block all their news channels to try prevent it picking up in the UK, but it will be too little too late. The UK I saw in my previous dream will be isolated. The entire European states who faced migration rallied to France's support. Ill-gotten treasures have no lasting value. Once again, the Almighty prevails. Once again, you see man planning while God laughs. You bombed Libya to flood Europe, to give you the pretext to pull out of the European Union, only to find it bites you. Now isolated and alone, fearing the Russian bear, they begin to squirm, they begin to turn, and this ties into the Russian attack. I told you, the dream vision was explicit, the two of them. It will happen when the new religion is implemented and their laws removed. We saw the new religion. It's called believing what men in white coats and statistics tell you on television. It's called believing in science to take their vaccine. That is the new religion, the religion which sweeps their country. The laws being removed, the final law is their anti-protest crime policing bill about to be implemented. When that is implemented, the grass catches alight. The mothers, the women will set the grass alight. I pleaded, I made a video calling out. I watched her stumble, I was watching her stumble to her death and destruction. In her darkest hour before stepping off the cliff and falling into the abyss, the Almighty told me to send her a message: do not remove your laws, if you remove them you will be destroyed. And so she has not listened. I continue to stretch out my hand and call out to her to give her the warning, but she is deaf through pride and arrogance. She thinks she is too big to fall, too haughty to hear the truth, and so I say again, Britain, do not remove your laws, if you remove them you will be destroyed. Turn back from this path, but she won't listen, she will not pay attention. Before she implemented her new religion, her science-based religion based on lies, I sent her the message. The Almighty says, do not remove those